Alrighty, so now we're ready to sum up everything that we've done, hopefully, and put it all together. Alright, so once again, the rubric, to make it easy for everyone who does another subject, which is all of you, I've actually turned the rubric into dot points, which is to basically make each sentence a different dot point. Okay, so dot point 1, okay, it's basically all about your prescribed text and related text. It tells you have to evaluate them. Easy peasy. Then we have a look at how they represent individual, shared, and competing or conflicting political perspectives, ideas, events, and situations. We've had a big look at that. Then we have a look at people's political motivations, okay, and actions, and more importantly, okay, the impact these acts have on individual lives or society more broadly. Okay, now that's something we haven't had a look at, but it's basically through their motivations and actions. This comes through in the body paragraphs, which will be in the second summing up video. And then the last point is basically making sure you talk about the different textual forms and language choices and media of production. That's basically where you're presenting your evidence and techniques to show how he's contributed ideas to the text. Alright, so for an introduction, just quickly, you need to have a thesis statement. You need to have an idea that underpins the whole thing and is going to be the basis of your answer. Okay, it doesn't have to be just one sentence. When people say thesis statement, they mean tell us your idea. Okay, and it doesn't have to be at the start, but that's a good place to have it. Try and link the ideas that you have to the actual question. Okay, you've got to mention who are the composers and the texts. Okay, and you've got to talk about how these texts are going to help you in your actual answer. Alright, so for thesis statements and thesis ideas, for this module, you probably want to include words or ideas that reflect politics, representation, particular perspectives, and the effect those perspectives will have. Alright, so it does need to be kind of a general statement, an overall statement, because it is for both your prescribed text, why weren't we told, and whatever your related text is. So you can't just have a thesis statement that is about Reynolds. It has to sum up the two texts or three texts, I would suggest two, that you're going to discuss. Now, I've written one here. It's not brilliant, but it'll do. Through a presentation of their ideas and motivations, the composer will allow an insight into their politics and how they view society. So what you're actually telling the marker is that you know that there is the composer is going to present an idea and motivation, okay, and that's going to show you their politics and how they view society. So that would be the crux of your answer. Now, there's no particular question I'm going to answer in terms of the introduction I'm about to do. Okay, so it is very general and a bit vague, but here we go. So a lot of words on this page. So here we have our thesis statement. Okay, so you've already read that. Then you need to introduce your text or your ideas. It doesn't matter in which way you do it. Okay, we've got through Henry Reynolds' non-fictional historical monograph. So that's telling the marker you know what type of text it is. That's in the rubric. Why Weren't We Told? 1999. And song God Save the Queen, composed in 1977 by the Sex Pistols. The deeply held beliefs of their composers are represented to the audience. Okay, so you basically introduced your text, but you haven't gone, this is a text, this is a text. You put it in a sentence. Reynolds illustrates his belief that the history of Australia has been misrepresented and that the First Nations people should be fairly represented in history, politics, and society. So this here, okay, this basically sums up Reynolds' point of view, his motivation, his desire, what he's trying to express in the text as a whole, which is very important. He expresses beliefs that he shares with others and opposing views to give insight into his argument. So that's your little bit in the rubric, okay, where you've got shared and opposing views. Cool. Then you want to introduce the Sex Pistols again and what they're doing things for. The Sex Pistols highlight their disgust with the political system in Britain, which still celebrates the monarchy, by sneering and shouting their way through a diatribe. I don't have a last question. I don't have a last sentence there for that. Once again, that's where I would link it all back to whatever the question was, using some wording for the question to illustrate to the marker that you know the question, you've read the question, and you understand it. Cool. Part 2 will be how to do a body paragraph.